She stood on my porch with that fake smile, holding a crumpled paper in her hand. "It's done," Karen said proudly. "The lake behind your ranch is now gifted to my son. He'll be hosting his birthday party there next week, so make sure you clear your boats." I stared at her in disbelief, my fist tightening around the railing. Before I could even reply, she pulled out her phone, dialed 911, and started screaming loud enough for the whole street to hear. "Officer, we have a trespasser. He's threatening me on my property." The words cut through me like fire. My property? My ranch lake? Within minutes, 2 patrol cars rolled up, sirens cutting the evening silence. Neighbors peeked through their curtains while Karen pointed at me like she'd just caught a criminal. "Arrest him!" she yelled. "He refuses to leave my land." One officer approached cautiously, asking me to step forward. My jaw clenched, but I stayed calm. Karen smirked, whispering to the crowd that gathered, "He's just a tenant. He doesn't even own this place." I could hear the whispers, the judgment, the doubt rising in their eyes. But I knew something Karen didn't. She thought she could twist the rules of the HOA, fake notices and stage calls to the cops. What she didn't know was that for the past 6 months, I had been sitting quietly at every HOA budget meeting. I wasn't just another homeowner she could bully. I was the man who had been handed control of the HOA's finances after the last treasurer got caught skimming funds. Every dollar, every property record, every lake maintenance fee ran through me. I looked at the officers calmly and said, "Before you put your hands on me, you might want to see who actually pays for that lake she claims belongs to her son." Karen froze for the first time, her face twitching, but she quickly covered it with another laugh. "He's bluffing. He's always bluffing. But this time I wasn't bluffing. This time she had walked straight into her own trap." The taller officer narrowed his eyes, holding out his hand. "Sir, if you have proof, show it now. Otherwise, we'll have to escort you off this property." Karen folded her arms with that smug grin, already rehearsing the story she'd spread around the neighborhood. I pulled my phone from my pocket slowly, scrolling to a folder labeled HOA records. With one tap, the screen filled with spreadsheets, signed documents, and budget approvals. "Here," I said firmly, holding it up so they could both see. "Every cent of lake maintenance, landscaping, and security comes from HOA funds that I approve. Without my signature, that lake dries up in a year." The younger officer leaned closer, his face tightening as he read the official HOA seals. Karen's smirk wavered just for a second, but she wasn't backing down. "That doesn't mean it's his lake," she snapped. "The community owns it, and as a board member, I decide who can use it. My son is already planning his event." I cut her off. "Funny you say that, Karen. Because last week the board voted you out for misconduct. That letter should have reached you yesterday." Her eyes widened like she'd been slapped. "What?" she whispered. "You're lying." Just then, one of the neighbors stepped forward, clutching an envelope. "No, Karen. It's true. I got my copy this morning. You've been removed." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen spun around, her voice shaking now. No, this is a setup. He forged it. He's manipulating everything." The taller officer finally spoke, his voice colder than before. "Ma'am, if this is true, and you knowingly filed a false police report, you understand that's a criminal offense?" Karen's face drained of color. Her hands trembled, but she still tried to keep her chin high. "You don't scare me. I'll call my real connections," she spat, though the words sounded less convincing now. I stepped closer, lowering my voice so only she could hear. "You've been playing with fake authority for too long. But now, it's my turn." Karen's bravado cracked the moment my words sank in. She stumbled back, clutching her phone like it was a weapon. "You think you can scare me? I'll call the HOA president right now and have you thrown out," she barked. The crowd shifted uneasily. Most of them knew the president had resigned weeks ago. Karen was bluffing, and badly. I raised my voice so everyone could hear. "There is no HOA president. The board dissolved after Karen's misconduct hearing. And until a new board is elected, I'm the acting treasurer with full budget control. That means everything Karen just promised her son? Worthless." Gasps erupted. One of the officers glanced at his partner and muttered, "This isn't adding up." Karen, desperate, jabbed at her phone screen and shoved it toward the officers. "Here, I have emails, proof that I was authorized." But when the officer scrolled through, his brow furrowed. "Ma'am, these are screenshots. And the signatures? They don't match the HOA records he just showed us. Her eyes widened in panic. No, they're real, she stammered, but her voice cracked. A neighbor whispered, she faked documents for a kid's birthday lake party? Another neighbor added, she's been pulling this kind of stunt for months. Someone had to stop her. Karen's mask finally slipped. Her cheeks burned red and she shrieked, "You're all against me! I built this community. Without me, this place would fall apart." She looked like she was about to lunge, but the taller officer stepped between us. "Ma'am, calm down. Right now, you're one step away from obstruction of justice." I stayed calm, folding my arms. "If you really think you own this community, Karen, why don't we let the real records decide?" The officer nodded. "We'll need to verify everything at the station." Karen froze, realizing the nightmare she had triggered for herself. But instead of backing down, she tried one last card. "My son's birthday is tomorrow," she whispered, her tone trembling but defiant. "I'll burn this place down before you ruin it for him." The crowd went silent. Even the officers stopped breathing for a second. That was the moment everyone realized. Karen wasn't just entitled. She was dangerous. The taller officer's expression turned dark after Karen's threat. "Ma'am, did you just say what I think you said?" he asked slowly. Karen's eyes darted from side to side, realizing too late how badly her words had slipped. "I didn't mean it like that," she stammered. He's my son. It's his big day, and you people are trying to destroy everything." But her voice was shaky now, her confidence gone. I stepped forward, holding my phone high. "Before you take my word or hers, maybe the whole neighborhood should see the truth." With one swipe, the screen lit up with footage from the HOA's own meeting, recordings I had kept quietly. There was Karen, slamming papers on a table, bragging about how she could make up rules and nobody would ever question them. Gasps erupted as her own voice played loud and clear. "The lake isn't theirs, it's mine. I'll do whatever I want with it." The crowd turned on her instantly. "So it's true." "She lied to all of us," one neighbor shouted. Another added, "She made me pay extra fees for lawn service that never even happened." The voices rose, angry and accusing. Karen's face crumbled as the officers exchanged glances. The younger one finally stepped forward. "Ma'am, you're under investigation for filing a false report, falsifying documents and possible fraud with HOA funds." He pulled out his cuffs, and Karen's scream pierced the air. "You can't arrest me. I own this neighborhood," she wailed, thrashing as they restrained her. But the neighbors no longer looked scared, they looked relieved. I let out a long breath, my eyes sweeping across the faces around me. "This lake doesn't belong to one person," I said quietly. "It belongs to the community. And from now on, no one is going to bully you into thinking otherwise." A few neighbors clapped softly, others nodded with watery eyes. For the first time in months, the street felt united. As Karen was escorted into the patrol car, she shrieked over her shoulder, "You'll regret this! I'll get out and I'll take everything from you." The door slammed shut, muffling her voice. I turned to the crowd and said the one line that made everyone cheer. "I didn't take this job to control people. I took it to protect them. And no entitled bully will ever own my land or my freedom." The neighbors erupted in applause. The officers gave me a respectful nod. And for the first time, I knew the nightmare was over. Not just for me, but for everyone Karen had tried to crush. The end.